General quarters, all hands man your battle stations.
Broadcasting live on WNN 1470 AM, 95.3 FM, iHeartRadio, and the World Wide Web. This is Make America Think Again with your Google Blacklisted host, Trento.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
All right. So what are we doing?
Good morning, everybody. Today's Wednesday already.
How did I get on screen?
November 25th. What happened?
Uh-oh, he's got
Oh, we're so happy to see you, Mark.
Yeah,
I'm so good. You
Uh-oh,
know what?
he's
That
got
was
something up his sleeve.
that was an error, I think, but it's so good to see you this
Yeah,
wonderful
yeah.
Wednesday. Look, see, wait, move over a little bit. We can
Let
only
the
see your
people see you.
ear.
Oh,
There
I
we
can't see,
go.
I can't see.
Mark runs everything here. He even turns on the lights. He's unbelievable.
And
He
he's
makes
got
sure
He's got to handle all those monitors behind
all
him, too.
those monitors, the sound, the quality, the mics, the electrics. He glues things. He sticks
Yeah,
things.
man of all trades.
He's a man of all trades. He works with computers that are, you know, how old those computers are, and he makes them work. But you know what? They're going. We need donations. We need a computer. Anybody, please,
I need
please,
another
please.
body.
Give us
Yeah, you need
25,
help.
give us 50, give us 100. We'll put it together, and we really need donations bad. We're struggling here. Please find it in your heart during this time of Thanksgiving.
yeah, now's the
Tomorrow's
time. Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
yeah,
To
yeah.
give us, please give us a donation.
But yesterday's show, man, that took off, didn't it?
Unbelievable. The
was
response
yesterday's show?
incredible. We
I'm
did
full
so
bandwidth.
many shows yesterday because now we're airing in Georgia.
Hey, welcome, Georgia, whoever the Georgians
Yeah.
are listening to us. We told them to tune in to
Yes.
WNN. That's 9:06 in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show was pretty cool yesterday.
Very cool. We're
yeah.
on 9:20 a.m. The Answer, WGKA AM, every Saturday from 4 to 5, but we tape it a day before, a little bit more this time because of Thanksgiving.
And if you want to see yesterday's show, just go to theunitedwest.org and go right there and just a little playlist. And you can watch yesterday's show. I think it's one of the best shows we've ever done.
Well,
Tom.
we had Patrick Colbeck as our guest. And you definitely want to tune in and hear what he has to say about Dominion, about the issues of the computers that were actually hooked up to the internet. And we know that when a computer is hooked up to the internet, that what happens is it makes the whole voting data vulnerable to manipulation,
And they're not
remote
supposed to be.
manipulation.
And they're not supposed to be hooked to the internet.
Yeah.
They're it's supposed to be a secure system.
Yeah. So he gave us firsthand information. So you definitely want to tune in and definitely look for that video because you'll hear firsthand information. It's a very fast-paced, fast-moving show, very entertaining as well, but most importantly, with valuable information about, the fraud of this particular election.
Yeah, he's probably Patrick Colbeck from yesterday's show. And today is Wednesday, the 25th, is it? How come I can't? Oh, I got a stupid calendar in front of me.
25th. Yeah, tomorrow's the 26th. And my
Wednesday,
brother's birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday, brother.
Patrick Colbeck, he's he retired from being a state senator in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Very effective. And in 2018, he ran for the Republican nomination to be governor.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, I mean, it's the politics, even the Republicans are rhinos in that state. He's a conservative. So he did not win the nomination, but Gretchen Whitmer, who is the legislature is moving to impeach her because of mishandling of the Wuhan, shutting everything down, thinking she's a dictator and being the elitist, where she and her husband can do whatever they want, but no one else. These people, Gavin Newsom, all these people, they are, if you study the CCP, Communist Chinese Party, you'll see there's 1.4 billion people. 1.4 billion. We have 300 million. We have
350
0.3.
million.
350. Let's say we have 400 million. We don't. But China has 1 billion people more than us.
A lot of people.
If there ever was a war, they don't need nuclear weapons.
No, they just stomp across the border, come across.
No,
Alaska.
they load up airplanes with human bodies. I was thinking of this the other day. This is medieval stuff. You load up airplanes with people, and you're gonna thin out your herd, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And you drop live bodies from 10,000 feet, 100,000 feet. You shoot them missiles. You just drop 2 million bodies in New York City, and they smash on the ground and die. And what a cleanup! And the rats
Well, look
and all
what
that
they
stuff.
do with they
But
use.
you can literally drop human bodies.
Yeah,
And they don't care because
they
that's-
don't care
that's
about
for the
their
sake of the
people.
state.
Look at what they do. With the people
But
that
listen to this: out of the
Yeah.
1.4 billion, there's about 100 million, so less than a tenth, that are members of the Communist Party. These are the
Yes.
people that have a card. You're entitled to the privilege of all communists in the country of China.
Right.
The other people just are the working class.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the 100 million, 90,000 are the elite rulers in China that live a better life than anybody in Palm Beach.
Oh, they're multimillionaires.
They're multimillionaires.
And there's more. And here, I didn't know this till the other day. There's more millionaires per capita in China on the coastline than there are in all of the United States.
In the United States.
Yeah.
They're very, very wealthy because you go to Walmart, you buy a TV for $4, 72-inch TV, $4. You go, how do they do that? They got Chinese kids working in
a little
sweatshops.
6-year-old.
Tried. In fact, I'll give someone a challenge. Try to go buy a microwave that is not made in China. Or even, it's tough to actually go. I don't want to boycott China. I don't want to buy in there. La 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 la. You
can't even find. You can't find an
can't.
American-made teapot.
I know everything's made in China.
Yeah.
Well,
We did it.
Donald Trump was a bulwark against that, slowing that down, cut that deal in February. Remember the trade deal? Then the Wuhan pops out mysteriously, gets spread mysteriously.
Yeah.
Now, China, Biden, what is it? Beijing, Biden.
Yeah.
China's going, whoa, this is going to be a lot of fun.
But we did have some breaking news yesterday, and I put it up on the screen.
What is it?
Is Pennsylvania today at 12:30. This is for your listeners. 12:30, November 25th at 12:30 p.m. at the Wyndham Hotel in Gettysburg. So anybody listening in Pennsylvania, go there, and they're going to be streaming it live.
Oh,
the Senate committee to discuss election issues in Pennsylvania. This could be huge.
This is the proverbial. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? This will be a meeting.
Today is a big day in Pennsylvania.
I don't think Fox News is going to be
Mark,
spread.
there's half of your head on the screen.
Well, you can't see it. It's just
you got to slide over. Or
no, I'm not even on the screen. Don't worry about it. You do your job. I'll do my job. Okay.
The comedy hour here.
See just your ear, a little bit of your.
Like, what's he look like?
A little bit. There you go.
But this is really huge because they're going to be presenting video evidence, witness testimony by all the senators. They're calling up. Each senator's going to have like 5 minutes to speak, and then they're going to start bringing up witnesses and witnesses and witnesses and witnesses and witnesses.
They have to listen to every single
All right, who wants
witness.
to make a bet? Will CNN, MSNBC, all those things?
They won't. Nope.
No, seriously.
No,
they won't.
They're not going to cover it. Only
$5.
Newsmax and
I'll bet you
OAN.
both $5. CNN has to cover it.
No.
I'll
bet it. I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that bet.
Well, hold on. You mean have to give like a little blurb of 2 seconds, or
they have a camera there and a reporter, and they do a story on it.
But
I could write the script to the story.
Well, I mean, not like a 2-second story, not like a 2-minute thing.
Well,
I'm talking about
show
streaming.
up.
Well, they've already had this
they can show
mantra.
up,
They're
but
already
they're not gonna
talking
show the
about
hearing.
how this
You're
talk.
backing off the bet.
No, they're not going to show the hearing. They're going to take, this person said this, and that's it.
Right.
That's all they're going to do.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm saying, but
I agree to that.
Okay.
All
But
right.
they're going
Well,
to.
they're saying already that anybody who's disputing and saying, that this election was fraudulent, like we're all nuts.
Yeah.
So I don't see how they can go back
90s
on that and say there's actual evidence.
97% of the American people think that the election was fraud in the Republican parties.
Yeah.
A large majority of the Democrats think it also. They just don't care.
Well, here's the big idea for today. Hi, Tom Trento.
Hold on. Let me finish because
Go ahead.
there's
I'm
more.
sorry.
There's more.
I don't
There's
know.
more.
I think he's
Sorry.
hijacking the
Taking over
show.
the show. Go ahead.
Well, there's more.
I think it's
There's
the Mark
also
and there's more.
Arizona and
His
Michigan.
ear.
Arizona and Michigan are
Ear
also
is speaking.
Arizona and Michigan are also going to hold similar hearings, and also Wisconsin's another thing in play. But the key takeaway is in Pennsylvania, the legislators control who sends the electors. I think this is what's going on in Pennsylvania. They're actually going to try to have the House and Senate send the electors as Donald Trump's Republicans, and they're going to show overwhelming evidence in this hearing. I think that's what's going to happen. That's my gut. You don't think so, Tom?
Never happened. No. And what that means.
So we have a bet. We have $5 on the
no,
table.
He backed out of the.
Oh,
No,
but I'm in the bet.
No, this is
You're hanging in there.
Yeah,
The bet is that a CNN news crew, I'm betting they will be there and they'll do a BS 2-minute story.
Oh,
I'll
okay, I'm
agree to
betting
that.
that there will be no
They
coverage.
won't even be there.
There won't be
All right,
coverage.
I'll take that.
Okay. I'll take that.
You'll take why? You already backed
No,
out.
I'll take. I like your bet because they'll give a 2
he
minute
wants,
BS.
He
to
wants
jump
your
in.
bet. Oh, that
Yeah.
that
No,
they'll
you gotta
be
pay
there.
Both of us $5.
Wait, you believe they're going to be there briefly?
Yeah.
They'll mention it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say they're not even going to mention
You
it.
want to do another $5 bet with him?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll
that's-
do 5 with you and 5 with
Okay.
you.
All right.
Okay, let's make it interesting.
But the
That's
only
for a person that's really not a bettor.
but I bet.
I don't even buy a lottery ticket.
But
I
this
do.
live
I
streaming.
do.
I forget to buy them.
I had a boss that years ago, never bought a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Right.
And he didn't do it.
He said you can't if you don't even have a chance if you don't buy it. He was a little wacky. He said if God wants me to win, because I said something like if God wants you to win, you got to have it in your hand. If God wants me to win, the winning ticket will fly through the air and fall
Land
in
on
my
my
hand. That's a lot
hand.
of faith, Needless to say, he never won the
Well,
lottery.
you know what? Just because of this conversation, I'm going to go after work today. I'm going to buy a lottery ticket.
All right.
Just to support our school
I'm
system.
going. I buy
Because it's what? It
a
contributes
week.
to the school system of Florida,
And
right?
if you win,
Like
you're
what?
gonna
Like 1 hour of
Yeah,
for like all the days of the school year. It pays for like
who knows where it goes.
And if you
I
win,
wouldn't
you're
10
track
minutes.
it.
And if you win, you got to donate the proceeds to the United West because we suggested it to you.
It's 200 million, so
okay.
you'll clear about 120.
Yep.
What would you do with $120 million?
I would donate a
How would
good
your life
portion. How
change?
much do you need? I mean, look, it's nice to have money, right? I would definitely, donate a good portion. Like half of it's going to go to taxes, right?
So you got $100 million in your bank. You go look on the thing. You got $100 million.
I would buy a home in Israel first thing. I mean, no, I shouldn't say first thing. I would
She would
donate. I
move
would
to
help
Israel
my
so quick,
family,
she'd be
but I
out
want a
here.
home in Israel.
All
I
right,
would
so-
love a home in Jerusalem.
So the most fabulous home in Jerusalem, $3 million. $4
Right,
million.
right.
Now you got $95 million. What are you going to do?
What do you do with 95 million? I don't even know what that looks like. I mean, I have everything I want,
Would
Like
you go to Boca Raton and buy a big $25 million
No.
mansion on the ocean?
Nah. I love where I live.
I know what
I think I could help a lot of people. I think that would be a good thing. right?
Money, all money does is accentuate your strengths or weaknesses. If you're a weak, evil person, the money makes you weaker and more evil. If
Mm,
you're a good person, it makes you
better.
do more good.
I'd like
Yeah.
to test that theory out.
The who?
Yeah, I would test that
I'd like
theory.
to test that theory.
You wanna
out.
Yeah,
test
let's
it
do
out,
that.
yeah.
Let's test that theory.
Yeah. Well, the big idea for today's show, because we're talking about Pennsylvania and the legislature may say,
Hold on, Tom. I got one more thing. Just a second. before you go. Just teasing. Go ahead.
the legislature may say, and this is a constitutional right, whether or not the state administration, the governor agrees with the legislature may say, you know what, there's so much indication of fraud, and we don't have time to prove it all by the 14th, but we're so convinced of it that we're going to override any certification, and we're going to send our electors to elect Donald Trump.
Mhm.
Man, you want to see riots in Pennsylvania?
Good.
And that would explode that state.
Sure.
But what would happen is the administration there, which is opposed to all of this, the governor in Pennsylvania, file a suit. It would go to a federal court, immediately have a decision that would go up to the Supreme Court.
Mhm.
Then the Supreme Court has to say, yes, the electors can do it. And boom, now you got riots all over the country,
Well, and
which we may have to live with.
We
and
may have
Bush-
to live with.
and in a little election of Bush v. Gore, where they're talking about, what the electors have a choice to do. They said they have broad discretionary powers to do whatever they want to do according to the Constitution. So this is not.
Yeah, but what the Supreme Court did there was because it was unequal access to voting rights, they said, you know what? we are stopping the counting. That's all they did. They stopped the counting, and the count was 537 for Bush.
Yep.
Boom, he wins.
That's
So
it.
we're in uncharted territory for sure. Donald Trump has not conceded, but he nodded.
Mm.
He nodded yesterday. Did you see the nod he gave to Biden?
I didn't see that.
He agreed to have the Government Services Administration, which is significant, to start working with Joe Biden for a transition.
Mhm.
So he
Well,
basically
he
said,
has
"I'm
to
not
do it.
conceding,
But he
but
has to do it.
I'm holding on to a miracle. But go ahead, start making a transition."
I
So he
mean-
opened up the government to make a
It's
transition,
actually a good thing to do.
and we got the third term. Did you see the? It was Lester.
Holt,
Lester NBC.
Les Nessman,
Lester Holt.
Le-
Lester Holt.
Lester Holt. It's Lester Holt.
Yeah, good guy.
Les
I like
Nessman
him.
was WKRP.
Oh, he said
He
it was
was-
a third.
He was
term or-
interviewing Biden.
Mhm.
Biden is done. That guy is
He's
toast.
like blank.
He can't carry on. He can't analyze more than 2 or 3 sentences
Mhm.
and articulate them effectively. He gets lost in his own
Mhm.
thoughts. So Blinken and Harris and others are propping him up.
Yeah.
But he was asked, "Is this going to be a third term of Obama?" He goes, "This is not going to be a third term of Obama."
Right.
But you look at all the people he selected; they're
It's a
all
third
from
term
Obama.
Obama.
This is Obama 3.0.
Yeah.
And my guess is, and we had predicted this, that Obama is going to be the shadow government
Yeah.
if they won behind him, because that's where he's
Mhm.
going to go. He's going to go to Obama, and all those people are going to go to Obama.
All right.
So
Here's
this
the
is
other.
going to be a lot
Here's
of
the
fun.
other $5 bet, Susie, Tom.
What?
Mhm.
Another $5 bet?
Another $5 bet within a year. All right. If Biden takes office, and I'm still holding out hope on the Pennsylvania. If Biden takes office, okay, from January 20th to was it 20th? January
Inauguration, yeah.
inauguration day to inauguration day. Will he still be president before or after, or will Kamala take over? Will Kamala take over her presidency within a year or over a year?
Oh, I think she's going to take over within a year.
That's
No,
fine.
yeah. Well, obviously within a year.
I don't think that he's going to. He can't function.
I say by the summertime.
And so there's going to be a backlash on him in the news, and they're going to start coming at him with knives out and open and start, well, he might have dementia. He might be. And then let's look at the 25th Amendment. Remember what Nancy floated
Yeah,
before the
that's
election?
right. She already alluded to
So
it.
I think in his character of a healer, he's a healer. He brings people together.
Hmm.
In that character, he's going to say, I've noticed over the past couple of months an increase in particular issues, and I've been to my neurologist, and I sadly I need the country to pray for me.
Mhm.
I'm on the early stages of some
Neurological
cognitive
stuff.
issues, and I
Oh, you
think
think
for
he's
the
gonna-
sake of the country,
I'm going to
for
back
the
down.
sake of the universe,
Mhm.
for the sake of pumpkins, for the sake of turkeys, for the sake of, I am going to step aside.
Side.
And I told you she was ready on date. You're going to hear that kind of nonsense.
Mhm.
So-
Mhm.
All right, but anyway, I want to give you a big idea. We like to
Okay,
put big
what's
ideas
the big
for the
idea
show.
today?
It's 9:22 in the morning. We've talked about important stuff, but I have a whole list of things we got to get
Yeah,
through.
it's not your
here.
show anymore, Tom.
The big idea is O.J. Simpson. If you remember anything about today's show, it's O.J.
Jay
Simpson.
Simpson.
Okay. What does that mean? I'll let you two guys kind of decipher what I just said.
Big, massive trial. Everybody got really excited about it, and he got off.
Pretty close. What do you think?
Yeah.
Can you add to that?
OJ Simpson. Yeah, it became just no other news existed, just OJ Simpson. There was nothing else in the world.
Did O.J. Simpson kill Ron Goldman
Yes.
and Nicole
Yes.
Simpson?
And he
Yes.
got off.
Okay, you both
Yeah,
said
and he got
did.
off. Yes.
Was he found guilty of that crime?
Well, sort of in the
He
criminal
did.
later.
No, it was as a criminal. Was he
He-
found guilty of murder?
Yeah, he did, wasn't he? Yeah,
No.
he served.
No, no, he
he didn't
wasn't.
serve.
The glove doesn't fit. You must have quit. You got let go.
I thought
He was
served.
acquitted. He was acquitted of the criminal charges.
Mhm.
And remember the Dream Team, Johnny Cochran and Kardashian and F. Lee
He got
Bailey.
acquitted.
He was acquitted. And later on, the Goldman family sued him in civil court.
That's when he lost.
Which the level of proof was much, much lower in civil court. And he was found guilty of killing her in civil court. And they whacked him with a $33 million judgment, which he's never paid. But he went to jail because he was in on a scam in Vegas where he was selling his old memorabilia.
And now
he
it's
went
coming
in
back
with
to
a gun
me.
to hustle the guy and all that stuff.
And he fought somebody and punched somebody.
Yeah. So the big idea is O.J. Simpson was absolutely guilty of that crime, but it wasn't proven. Wasn't proven in a court of law. That's what we have today. These people are absolutely, these people, the Democrat operatives, whether in a conspiratorial manner, nationally, I don't think so, but certainly independently, they all knew what they had to do. They committed a series of crimes, some technical, some, you're going to see in Georgia, the case in Georgia, where thousands and thousands, this came out yesterday, thousands and thousands of absentee ballots were counted for Biden. And when you track the address back, it's Joe Blow at some street address, apartment 1042. When you track it back, it's a post office box. And the street address of the post office and the apartment box is the P.O. box.
These are thousands of votes with that address.
Thousands
with that address on it.
That were absolutely done in a fraudulent manner by using P.O. boxes as home addresses and putting people's names on.
You can't do that.
You can't do it according to Georgia law.
No,
Georgia
right.
law says
you have to throw them out.
It has to be from where you live. You have to be affixed at this residence.
Well, they're really tiny people, Tom.
Yeah, they're little tiny people. So there's a variety of ways you can cook the books on an election, but the big idea is O.J. Simpson was guilty, but it couldn't be proven. That's going to happen here. Now, how do I know O.J. Simpson was guilty?
Because he did it.
I was
There.
I was there. I spent a year on the radio every day discussing the trial, and then I was sent to California, covered the trial, was one of the radio station, was
as a cub reporter. As a cub reporter,
I was cub reporter. I was one of the media that was in the courtroom, and they took in 7 media per day into the courtroom.
It's like a lot of,
and they gave you a slip, a number, and you sit there with your number, and if they pulled your number, you went in. I was there for 2 days for that. I didn't get called in, but my claim to fame is on the day in the Los Angeles federal court, on the day the decision came down, it was 10 o'clock in the morning, LA time. On one side was 200 media. I had moved in pretty quickly. I was right at the rope with Diane Sawyer. I got pictures downstairs. I could show you. Across the street were 5,000, mostly black people, but some other lefties in there and everything. And the way we found out, the way the media found out, we're standing out there, and the decision comes down in the court that we're standing right in front of. And I see a black lady with a little TV. I don't even know how she had it. Oh, it was a battery-powered TV.
That was rare back then.
And she starts going, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus." And the whole crowd, "Thank you, Jesus." And the big wave, "Thank you, Jesus." I go, I think he got acquitted.
Right.
I think he was acquitted. Now, and the whole place burst into a gigantic party, and I'm interviewing all these people. Ironically, right around the corner, there were 100 horses and paramilitary cops.
Really ready
In
for
the
crowd.
event he was found guilty, they were going to rip the town apart.
Wow.
And
There's a lot of parallels.
Wow.
There is a lot of parallels here.
that's I got a lot. I mean, I went to the scene of the crime where he cut their necks and everything. A little tiny alleyway in the back of the house, nothing big. So we'll do my OJ stories another time. But the big idea is that guy's guilty. The Democrats are guilty of fraud. We're not
But
be able
they
to prove it.
couldn't prove it with O.J. Simpson.
Couldn't prove it.
100% that he was guilty.
Well, there's a bar. There's a bar, and the bar for proving fraud on elections is lower than the bar for criminal stuff. But it's still not going to be done in time. My view. Maybe the legislators.
I want to believe that they will complete this in time.
I think by the
I want to
summertime-
believe in justice. I want to believe
yeah.
that
I'm actually more concerned, quite honestly. I understand the Trump thing is huge. Obviously, it's huge, but I think it's even bigger than Trump being president is the integrity of our elections.
Yeah,
we can't. I mean, what happens in Georgia? I mean, in January, are we going to have the same crap all over again? I was talking to my brother.
And how can we let this go? I mean, it's like if you know that there was illegal, that here computers were hooked up to the internet, that totally lost the integrity of the election. How can we allow that as a country? How can we allow that to just decide for us that that the wrong side won? And then what's going to happen? What's going to happen to the country?
That's what I was saying, Susie. Is I was talking to my brother the other night. He goes, and he's a lifelong Republican, votes every election. He goes, I don't even want to vote anymore. I'm just, it's all rigged.
And he's a policeman. He's a retired policeman.
I don't even want to vote anymore. I mean, that's what people are feeling, and that's a scary.
Well, let's hit the people with a little bit of meat. If you could cue up the video on CNN in 2006, where they took a position against electronic voting. We'll play that in a second. But here's what must be believed in order to believe
that's a good point.
that Joe Biden won. I'm going to throw out some stuff for our audience. 9:31, Tom Trento is your host on the Trento Show here, where we make America
think again.
Think again.
Make America think again.
Susie Gold
we do a lot of thinking here.
Co-pilot. Yeah, we do.
Hurts your head, doesn't it, Susie?
We're going to have a Christmas. We're going to have a Thanksgiving show tomorrow.
Right.
And I believe you're bringing food or something.
I'm going to bring some turkey. It's going to be a traditional Thanksgiving
meal.
We're going to do this on the air. We're going to talk about the various foods. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving.
I don't have a Wuhan belly enough. I'm going to Wuhan it out some more.
Yeah.
Anyway, your 5 things
we're going to give thanks.
Your 5 things to believe, Tom.
The what?
Your 5 things that you must believe.
Yes. Okay. Here's what you must believe. The Democrats dismiss, and I'm reading from an article that was written by David Catron a couple of days ago, the surreal list of innumerable irregularities. The Democrats dismiss any mention of the innumerable irregularities that tainted the general election. Mark's brother, it's so tainted, he's questioning whether to vote. I mean, a lot of people are that. And the Democrats are saying, these are crackpot conspiracy theories. Well, this is a very convenient way to avoid any serious questions raised by serious observers. And today you're going to see serious presentation of material both in Georgia and in Pennsylvania.
Well, not today in Georgia. Oh, you talk about the lawsuit. Okay.
Yeah, lawsuit's being filed in Georgia today, and there's going to be a hearing in Pennsylvania at 12:30.
12:30.
I think Nevada, there's also.
Not till December 1st.
Oh, is that
part of the argumentation of this piece is that there are in the United States, there are 19 bellwether counties. You know what a bellwether county is? Anybody know that?
Bellwether.
They're predictor counties. Counties.
They're counties that always go in a particular way. And these 19 counties that are used as bellwether by the statisticians, and the only one of the 19 that Biden won is located in Washington State, which is a total lefty place.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump of the bellwether states, bellwether counties, and there's 3,000 counties in the United States, but these are predictive for a whole variety of reasons. Donald Trump won 18 of the bellwether states,
right,
and Biden won 1 in a totally leftist state. The last time a Democrat won the presidency while his party sustained a double-digit loss in the House, right? They got destroyed in the House.
Mm-hmm.
So this means people went in there and they voted for Joe Biden, president, and then they voted for Republican Congress people. Does that make any sense?
No.
No.
Okay.
It'd be like the bet. If I make a bet for you, hey, Tom, before the election, we're going to get 15 House seats. We're going to hold on the Senate, but Donald Trump's going to lose. Would you have taken that bet? In a heartbeat?
Right,
You
yeah,
would have
of
said,
course,
yeah,
yeah.
you're crazy. No, because one compliments the
Doesn't
other.
make
But I want
sense.
the audience to understand this. At 9:34 in the morning, WNN 1470. I almost, can't say 9:20. Can't say that. We gotta be careful what we're talking about here.
Right.
The audience needs to understand this, that there are 19 counties that are predictive every year, and Donald Trump won 18 and Biden won 1. Okay, so now you go, okay, well, that statistically,
That's one
analytically, logically, chalk one up for Trump. Then the last time a Democrat won the presidency while his party sustained double-digit losses in the House was in 1960, and that election was totally a fraud election in Chicago,
Yeah,
where Mayor Daley got Kennedy elected through using the racketeers to spin the whole thing. So it hasn't happened in what 1960, 74, 60 years.
and that was a fraud election.
And it was a fraud election. So Biden's victory this year seems even more implausible after there's been an audit of his performance in these remarkably predictive bellwether counties. The Wall Street Journal reported that Biden had a near perfect record of losses in counties whose election results have presaged, gone before presidential winners in decades. I'll explain that. From 1980 to 2016, 19 of these counties out of 3,000 voted for the eventual president in every single election.
Right.
And the only one was, as I said, the one in Washington, D.C. Well, President Trump trounced Biden in Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ohio has been considered what kind of state?
It's kind of a swing
state.
Swing red state, but anyway.
4 years ago, Trump had a balanced coalition in Ohio's white voters, winning on educational levels, a couple other levels. But the pundits basically said Ohio is going to go for Joe Biden. It has to, with all the demographic changes. Well, President Trump trounced Biden in Ohio, winning by 8.2% in Ohio.
Right.
The pundits said Ohio's going for Biden. And they said, as Ohio goes, so goes the nation. That's the way it's been in presidential elections for
Right.
more than half a century. Well, now they changed their view after Trump beat Biden, said, you know what? Ohio really wasn't a swing state. It was a hardcore Republican state all the time. They're completely changing their tune. So you got to believe that the state, which was a swing state, which went hardcore for Trump, was an anomaly as opposed to some predictive analytical way in which the vote went. Now, go back to right now, Trump is losing by 7 million votes. That's the general count. Losing by 7 million means, and I want to make this point, people went in and they voted for Joe Biden, however they voted, push a button, fill out a little thing. And then they voted for Republican congresspeople, Republican senators. Does that make any sense?
Not in this
Makes
environment.
sense.
Not in this environment. No.
Doesn't make sense.
Who was it said that there's only a big pollster came out and said there's only 5%. Steve Phillips actually came out and said that there's only 5% undecided right now.
That's all there is.
Everybody
don't waste
else is
money
locked in.
on ads trying to. Yeah,
Weren't
exactly.
there also ballots that just had president and they didn't
Yeah.
they didn't vote at
Yeah,
all?
100,000.
For, yeah.
At 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
They didn't vote for senators.
in
or
order
any other
for
positions.
in order for an average logical person to believe Joe Biden won this election fair and square, you absolutely have to believe that Democrats went in, voted for just him, then voted for a bunch of Republicans. Right. You have to, according to how the elections turned out. Now, what would be a theoretical explanation how the president gets more votes, but the down ballot doesn't?
But
Anybody can figure that out?
I want to take that one step further, Tom. It only happened in swing states. All the other states that were normal, they went just
were
like
consistent.
they were consistent.
So how do you account for,
cheating?
well, how would the cheating give more votes to the president and avoid the down ballot side?
Because he won the down
That's a
ballot.
very good question.
Because all they did was voted for Biden.
You push a button in the Dominion software,
Yeah.
which Colbeck told us
Yeah.
yesterday
and
was
then
a
it
feature
switched.
of
It
the
was
software.
a feature, so they switched it just to Biden and left the others alone.
And one of the theories that, not theory, she says she's going to prove it, Sidney Powell has, is that a weight was given to each vote. Joe Biden's weight was 1.23. Donald Trump's
Right.
was
It's
point
0.77.
point 237
Point
seven, right?
0.27.
3/4 versus 1 1/4. So if you do that just for the presidential in the right places, you could have more votes for the
Right.
president with the down ballot people
Well, yeah, that's
winning,
And-
because you're not tweaking those elections.
And
Instead of-
that's the Kraken.
And the Democrats are saying, well, come on, there should have been more down ballot votes for Republicans if they really if Trump had that coattail effect. And we're saying no, there wasn't, because the machine tweaked the
Tweaked the coattail.
presidential side of it. Now let's get to the real bellwether state, Pennsylvania. This is
Well,
ground zero
Well,
for
back up
election
just one
fraud.
second to actually highlight your point. Where Florida locked down the election fraud, we did not have it to the extent everybody else did. We saw what happened, an overwhelming victory for Trump. But go ahead, Tom.
Mhm.
All right, now we're going down to ground zero, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Now, these are facts that are going to be presented as evidence in probably today in Pennsylvania, in
12:30.
Gettysburg. The Commonwealth illegally changed its election rules before and during the voting process. That's a statement of fact.
Yeah,
They
that's
either did or they
didn't.
didn't.
Mhm.
They did. I was going to say they obviously did, but I won't even say that. They did. Their justification is pandemic. We can't have people getting sick and waiting in line. We're changing the rules to protect everybody.
They can't do that.
The
The
great
And they didn't
reset.
have authority, though, to do that.
They did not have legislative authority to do that. The essentially the Commonwealth Court and Secretary of the Commonwealth, they use Commonwealth instead of state, ignored the General Assembly in Pennsylvania and the U.S. Constitution to rig the election on behalf of Joe Biden. Now, would they do that in Pennsylvania?
Absolutely, hundreds of times.
A couple of authors have written about the chicanery. It's been established. So we're expected to believe. Here's another one of these out of believable thoughts you have to believe in order to believe that Joe Biden won fairly. We're expected to believe that such stories are conspiratorial theories, despite video showing Democrat election officials evicting. Remember those
That's right.
videos? You
Mhm.
can't come in here. You can't come in here. They're holding up some
Don't believe
6
your
feet
eyes.
away.
Gotta
6
go in a
feet away.
corral.
You got to have binoculars. Clear evidence that will be presented in Gettysburg today. Finally, in order to believe that Joe Biden won fair and square, you have to take a look at Smartmatic and Dominion. Dominion is the equipment. Smartmatic is the software. This video that we're going to play in a minute
Ready?
from 2006. Cue that up. I want to play it right after this. You got to believe that Smartmatic and Dominion software that was used to tabulate all these votes in the swing states, Arizona, Georgia, which we're focusing in on, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. You got to believe that this software, which was developed, where was it developed?
Venezuela.
What South American country that starts with a V?
Venezuela.
Venezuela. They developed it. And it was banned from the U.S. a decade ago, but now it's been brought back in under the
Shell corporations. Yeah.
basically the aegis of a subcontractor.
Mhm.
So 10 years ago, we banned this software. Software was sold to another company. That company brought it in, and now it's being used in the Dominion and other computer systems to tabulate, as Colbeck told us yesterday, the vote.
And-
So the bad software is in play in the United States. If you want to accept Joe Biden as our chief executive, you got to believe the voters hammered the Democrats in congressional, state, and local elections while deciding to elect the leader of their party. You got to believe that he dramatically underperformed with minority voters, yet received 10 million more votes than Barack Obama.
Right.
You got to believe that all the stuff we've seen with bellwether states and all the fraud we've seen with our own eyes, and the fact that Venezuelan software is being used, you got to believe all of this is a conspiracy theory. Well, if you believe that, you're participating in a conspiracy theory.
There's an outside chance it could have been Barack Obama. If just Barack Obama did this, it could be an outside chance because there's a mass of support for him, but there was no support for Joe. Nowhere.
He didn't even campaign, and he was in his basement.
He had 10 people at his rallies.
That's not the video. The video is
this one you had.
No, there's another one. There's a couple of them I sent to you. This one is from 2006.
This is the one where
it's in that old square format. It is the video.
Okay, I'll find it.
Yeah, the video for today. Here's the thing. Yeah, the two above that. That's the Georgia one that we want to show if we have time left here. But what we just established,
okay, I got
you got it. What we just established at 9:45 in the morning is that it is so inconceivable in light of the evidence. But Suzi, CNN says there's no evidence. It's been debunked. How do you, somebody looking at CNN and they say there is no evidence, Giuliani didn't present any evidence. How do you respond to that?
Well, first of all, there is evidence.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty obvious. But what we're seeing is a media that is following a mantra that they're given a script, and they're all saying the same thing, because you have to look to see who the handlers are. You got to look to see where the money's coming from.
They become the marketing arm for the Democrat Party. They want Joe Biden. I mean, they clearly want him.
I mean, look at everybody who he's appointed and how they talk about them. You know, and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, this guy's a great guy. He even practices judo and he plays a violin." I mean, like they just and just like how they treated Biden, you know, with just kid gloves with the questioning. "Oh, we love this guy. We're enamored with this guy." Whereas, you know, Trump gets hammered, you know, and he's been really quiet.
He has been. He has been
very quiet. I think, which is really smart.
We've been talking about CNN in particular being irresponsible on this and you know, carrying the water for Biden, shifting the metaphor. But here's a video that I think is ready to play.
Well, it's the only CNN video I had.
Yeah. Here's a video from 2006 when Lou Dobbs was there.
Oh, you want the Lou Dobbs?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's not the one there.
All right, I got the Lou Dobbs one.
You got the Lou Dobbs one?
Yeah, okay.
This one's from 2006. How many years ago is that? Man, time is flying. 14
years.
And the whole segment, 2 minutes or whatever, the whole segment is on you can't trust the software that's being used from Venezuela. So watch this. Listen to this, everybody. CNN.
Of another
2006.
amnesty in the future. A firm owned by Venezuela could be a...
Let me pull it back up the other way. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's got good audio.
Yeah, I know. Let me pull it the other way.
All right, we're fixing the audio, but this piece,
2006,
it was outrageous that we would use software from Hugo Chavez in Venezuela,
which helped him get elected.
And what they talk about in this piece is there were problems with some of the machines. And so they had to get repairmen
of another amnesty in the future.
Machines, right? They got repairmen. Guess where the repairmen came from?
Venezuela.
So Lou Dobbs almost loses his head in this segment. What are we doing? We got people from Venezuela on our property from, this is 2006, Hugo Chavez, the dictator of Venezuela. What are they doing here? This is insane.
By Hugo Chavez, working to change the views of most South American countries, moved to the left. Critics of the deal say our nation's very democracy is now for sale, without anyone doing a thing about it. Kitty Pilgrim reports.
The use of some 19,000 electronic voting voting machines in the city of Chicago and Cook County primary on March 21st of this year is now under intense scrutiny.
Got
The
low,
US company
the audio.
that makes the machines, Sequoia, was bought in 2005 by Smartmatic, a private company primarily owned by Venezuelan businessmen. When Chicago had problems with the machines, a dozen Venezuelan employees were there to help with the election. Chicago officials are outraged.
I think that American elections ought to be run by American companies and ought to be run by American citizens, not Venezuelan nationals.
Smartmatic is technically based in Boca Raton, Florida, but the president of the company, Jack Blaine, testified to the Chicago City Council. Fewer than a dozen Smartmatic employees work in Florida. The majority of the workers are based in Venezuela. Watchdog groups question why U.S. voting machines would be under the control of citizens of another country, especially a country whose own election process is highly suspect.
We believe this is a national security issue. There is no way that companies belonging to non-U.S. corporations should have access to our elections.
The Treasury Department is supposed to monitor sales of U.S. companies to overseas investors where there is a question of national security, such as in the Dubai ports deal, the so-called CFIUS review process. Some in Congress are demanding an investigation.
In the case of Smartmatic, there are a number of unanswered questions. That's why I wrote to the Secretary of the Treasury and asked them to review the ownership. It's offshore, it's murky, no one seems to know who owns it. Certainly our government should know.
A potential risk to the democratic process. Now, we called the Treasury Department to ask if the sale of Sequoia in 2005 had been reviewed or not. Treasury told us they were aware of the sale, but can't confirm if it's been reviewed or not. And some in Congress and voter watchdog groups also are demanding a better answer than that, Lou.
Well, this Treasury Department is filled with incompetence. They have stopped in over 1,500 reviews, only one sale to foreign owners' American assets. But a voting machine company, critical to this country's election count, and they can't tell you whether or not the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States reviewed it or not?
They have no answer for us. And
these are the most arrogant, incompetent, bureaucratic idiots. I mean, the Treasury Department is trying to move ahead of a number of other departments in that category.
It's incomprehensible that this would be in any way
Have we put a call into, I know John Snow's on a short tenure and short on tenure, but perhaps somebody who works for him would have some basic sense that he owes the American people an answer.
Lou, we have been trying to get the officials. They said they thought it was a company. So there are a lot of people in murky territory right here, and I think it really does deserve some examination.
Great. It certainly does. We're going to continue to do so. I think we need to tip our hat to the Congresswoman. She did a marvelous job in looking into this, and hats off to her. At least somebody is trying to make some sense. This administration, call the White House. Let's find out the answer so this audience knows.
He really
exactly
is, and rightfully so.
By Monday evening. And this is ridiculous.
Right.
We are looking into it actively, Lou.
Thank you, Kitty.
Lou Dobbs, he was with CNN back there, and that's an old piece of video, hard to find. We found it.
It's a little scratchy, but
it's a little scratchy, and
but you can hear the gist of what
we
was going
apologize
on
for that.
there.
But the point is, that's CNN doing an investigative report with Democrat Congresswoman saying, this is crazy, Venezuela.
And it is
Sidney
crazy.
That's
Powell,
14 years ago.
Sidney Powell said the same thing at the press conference last week, and conspiracy theory. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the cultural divide we're in. These are the two sides. One is closing their eyes. Oh, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. Get Joe Biden in. Hurry up. We want free stuff. And the hearings today and the investigations have to continue.
And they've got to prove it.
And we've
like
said,
we know this was
yeah.
illegal. We know. I mean, we've heard from enough of our guests who are, subject experts saying that, all the reasons that this software was not right, the computers were not right, and that, now that it's up to the legal team to prove it and show the evidence and listen to the testimonies, and God willing, you know what? And we should see justice.
Or is the OJ factor, where we know they're guilty, but we can't prove it. Yeah.
And there are live They had live feeds of this going in. How many elections? They knew before CNN did, before anybody knew. They had live vote count totals. Oh, we're behind. We need to break out the trucks and get them over. We're way behind. This is more than the software can do. Guys, fire up the trucks, fire up the garbage cans, get the votes out. Let's go. That's exactly what happened, guys.
You know, we here at the United West at 9:54 in the morning. We're pretty sharp. We're on top of stuff. I had no idea that our election infrastructure was so partitioned off to foreign countries
so
to
loose
do the counting and tabulating and all of this to this degree.
Yeah,
I
knew
never
it was
heard
great.
the word
This is great.
Dominion and Smartmatic. Did you ever hear those names before?
Not really. Yeah. I mean, I heard them, but
I mean, if this doesn't have a total revamp of our, I mean, we need to go back to paper ballots for a while until we figure this stuff out.
Let's end on a very happy note.
Yeah, let's be happy.
We now, if you can pull up the home that I sent you, the home, in the remaining moments here, the good news is our climate is going to be saved. Finally, we have a new czar. You know who the new czar is?
No.
You know who the new czar is?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, the new czar.
The climate czar selected by Joe Biden.
The new czar.
He used to be the Secretary of State, and he's got beautiful hair. And I refuse to buy his ketchup anymore.
Who
Kerry,
was that?
John Kerry.
Kerry.
Senator John Kerry, who was the Secretary of State, he's the new climate czar. And he says we need to be brought into the world community because we're destroying the air and the oceans. The oceans are rising. And before too long, we're going to have, Miami will be, downtown Miami will be the shoreline to the ocean. So we have John Kerry is going to save us. A couple of years ago, there's a picture on the screen. How do you like that?
That's a very beautiful home right on the ocean.
That's in Martha's Vineyard. Would you, if you won the lottery, would you buy something like that to hang out?
Absolutely. Look at that view.
What about the oceans rising and,
well, what they have to do is stop taking away the sand to build the condos, and then the ocean will rise.
Well, but I mean, according to John Kerry, whoever owns that house in 10 years, that house is going to be underwater.
Oh, according to him. So why did he buy that if it's going to be
house.
underwater? That's his house. So there goes his theory.
So John Kerry buys a $15 million home on the ocean in Martha's Vineyard. While he's preaching, the oceans are going to take over the borders and the world's going to end. These are these crazy people.
So you brought up a really good point. The sand is going down. The oceans aren't rising. Watch a PBS documentary called Sand Wars. It'll really open up.
No, you know what, Mark? You had told me, you said, watch the trains in Florida as they're coming from the south and see what they're loaded with. And I did. Not that I stood there all day long, but every time when I'm over there, I looked at what are they loaded with? Sand from the beaches. And then there isn't sand and the ocean's moving up.
Yeah, sand is the third most used resource in the world, more than oil, air, water, and sand. Sand is the third. And you're like, what? Are you crazy, Mark? Yeah, go look it up.
Speaking of oil, as we have to close our show right now, with the climate czar, John Kerry, in position, everybody out there, get ready. How much time do we have? 30 seconds here?
Yeah, 15.
Oh, I got a great
30 seconds. Go 30 seconds. Go 30 seconds. Quick.
A guy sees that Biden's elected president. He knows taxes are going to go up. He's got to cut 10 employees from his business in order to make ends meet. He goes out in the parking lot. He sees 10 cars with Biden stickers on them. He calls them into the office. You guys got what you wanted? You wanted Joe Biden?
Yep.
Here's the results of that. I have to let you go. Have a nice life. Goodbye.
Yep. And that's how he chose those that were going to lose their jobs.
Yep. So
they voted for it. You got it. Take it.
See you later. See you Thanksgiving. We'll see you tomorrow.
Everybody, happy Thanksgiving for tomorrow. We're going to be on tomorrow, so listen to us.
That's right. We're troopers. Not faking anything.